Exile, you got your wrench? Yep, you do. Cool. So how you guys doing tonight? Oh yeah, Ambi, I'll be using that other one also from time to time. I'm just kind of pushing things around right now, just trying to find the best setup I can. I really don't want it to be like a 3-minute intro, which is what that song is. That's kind of long. So, I'll try to integrate that song, at least pieces of it. With that song, every time I play that song, sometimes the live stream will get blocked in certain areas of the world for a copyright reason. Now they don't do nothing to me. I don't get like a copyright strike or anything. I just can't monetize the video, which doesn't matter to me because I don't monetize. So that's why I leave it there. And that does give me a little bit more leeway to do a little extra things here that a lot of others can't do. If I was monetizing and I was depending on the monetization money and all that kind of stuff, I wouldn't be able to use that song. So even at that, sometimes I can't use those things either. And I get it. If I'm making money off of that song, how are they going to make their money? The group and the band. So I get it. I really do. I understand it. So I guess it's kind of like a brand or your name, like your YouTube channel. If somebody's using your stuff, it's very similar to that. Maybe even a little bit more, because when's the last time anybody bought a record or a CD? You see what I'm getting at? Everything's digital downloads now. You don't have to buy full albums. You just buy the songs you like, and you keep moving. But that has affected the music industry to the tune of a lot of money. But they rebounded and figured out how to do it. So, if you guys remember right, you guys remember the site Napster? That was the biggest thing back then when they had the big lawsuit and all that. When they had to go, the band Metallica, their lead singer, actually went before Congress and testified. Trying to get that stuff to go away to where they could, charge what they need to charge to keep their business and stuff going. So, okay, this is going to be a shorter one. I am going to try to keep this one kind of short. I want to give you guys just a little bit of a update on what's going on with the G1 storm. We're no longer in that G1 storm, by the way. Hey Sig, stick around here for a minute. I know Mark's live right now. Just stick around here just for a second. Let me get through this, because I got something I want to ask everybody. I'm asking them to do a favor for me here in just a second. But everybody stick around here for a second if you could. We're gonna try to love bomb Mark here in just a second. And I'll explain more here in just a minute. So anyway, I'm gonna give you a Schumann update real quick, and guys, I'm gonna put the chat away. XIO, I think, is third in there too. Thought I seen. Yep, third in line's there. Della's there. Good to see you guys. So yeah, Teresa, how you feeling tonight? Doing okay? Hopefully you're good. I checked my emails. I didn't see an email. Don't worry about it, Teresa. If you don't, I'm good. Okay. So, if you're not feeling up to it, don't do it. Okay. I don't want to. I just, I'd like to have some contact just to kind of touch base with you, because we care about you, Teresa. And that's the only reason why. So here we go. Schumann resonance. I'm going to put the chat away, guys. Mods, please handle that for me if you could. I'll check back in on it here in a minute. So we got the Schumann. There's really nothing different than what I showed you guys earlier today. Just giving you guys a little quick update here. Again, we are getting some spikes here. And with that being said, I've been talking to Ricky also. She's been emailing me some information on some seismographs that back on, I think it was the 22nd or I think it was the 22nd. It was like a global event. It all happened at once, and I'm not going to go too much into detail right now because I'm going to try to gather some information so I can bring it to you guys the right way. But something happened. And it wasn't just the normal, what we would consider a glitch or a local event, that kind of thing. This was across the planet, and it seemed to come from the core of our planet. We're talking magma and stuff, so keep that in mind. That's going to be coming to you guys here probably within the next week. I want to try to see what I can figure out with that. She sent me a lot of information, a lot of captures, some imaging of the seismographs back on that day when that happened. And there's a channel out there. I'm not going to mention the name because, to be frank with you, I can't remember exactly the name of him yet. I want to meet him. I want to talk to him because he's very knowledgeable. What he was talking about with these seismographs. So I'm going to try to bring that to you guys because I think it's something very, very relevant, especially considering what's going on. And one of these seismographs, guys, where the magma and stuff was out towards Cascadia. And we've talked about that already. As a matter of fact, I talked about it in my last stream. So we know if we're seeing activity out there like this and it's global, what the heck is going on? Typically if we see a global event of some sort, it ends up being space weather. This time I don't think it was. This was something that was going on here. So anyway, and I talked about that at this point because of the Schumann. When we get earthquakes and stuff, guys, the Schumann will react. Okay, it changes the frequency. So, you guys ever heard of grounding? I know a lot of you probably have, where you take your shoes and socks off, and there's a lot of research behind that. And you go outside, and you physically, put your feet in the grass and the ground. And guys, I'm telling you, you'd be amazed at how well that works. Works wonders for a lot of different things. And I remember, being a kid and running out of the house without my shoes on and being outside all day long without my shoes on, that kind of thing. We don't do that as adults typically. And I'm wondering if that ain't what is helping us all get old real quick. Who knows? I'm not saying that's what's causing it. I'm just saying maybe we could stay younger a little bit longer if we were to ground more often. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to go too much more into that because that actually is a pretty deep subject. But it does work, guys. If somebody asks me, I tell them, straight up, hey, I do it and I feel better when I do it. So, okay. So, what's going on, right? Well, we're going to go ahead and give you the update on space weather conditions real quick. Well, let me pop this chat over here and check on you guys for a minute. You guys doing okay in there? Yeah, Taylor, that would suck. Don't go out there and get stuck in your feet. Guys, I really would encourage everybody to research that because there's a lot of good science behind it. There's a lot of good just books written on it. And it most certainly does help, at least in my opinion, okay? So, yeah. So, let me I'll pull this stuff back up here. Now, guys, here's our G1 stormers right here, okay? Here, let me just pull this up here like this, okay? So, obviously, we went up to like a 4, and I showed you guys this earlier today. And if you remember back here when I seen these two doing this, I said, hey, it ain't going to take much more because this activity was happening when we were seeing the magnetosphere reacting, remember? And we couldn't really figure out where it was coming from. And I told you guys then and there that, hey, listen, it ain't going to take much more, and we'll bump up into storm level. And that's exactly what happened. Now, it didn't last very long, and it was not that big of a deal, okay? Because it's not. I showed you what a G level 1 storm does with that, that chart that I showed you guys, explaining what we could expect when we're under these kinds of conditions. You know, and I really haven't heard a whole lot, but I will say this, and it ain't just coming from me. I've seen it on a lot of different things going on today. The internet itself is running extremely slow. You know, in certain areas. So, in my opinion, that does have something to do with space weather a lot of the time. The last time we had, you know, some pretty decent stuff going on when we got hit with a CME, the internet went slow too then. So, you know, those are signs pointing towards validating what we're saying here, right? So stuff started, you know, tapering back off here, and it dropped down pretty low. Now remember, about a 3 is where we really want to stay. We don't want to get down in the basement for any length of time because of cosmic rays. We don't want to be way up here for obvious reasons, you know, blackouts and stuff. Massive earthquakes a lot of times happen when we get these big ones. So we like to stay right in the middle. We don't want no activity, but we don't want too much. So it's a really thin line to walk. But if you watch this, you know, it tapered down and it just kind of dropped out. But look what's going on here. It's bouncing back up. Now, I don't know what it's going to do next. You know, we don't know. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some graphs and stuff here and show you what I think is going to happen. At least possibility of these things happening. So here's the ACE data. Now, the first thing I noticed, you know, when we look at these things, you look at the density, right? What do we do when we look at these at all? First thing, we should be looking at the range, okay? Because it changes. Most of the time you come over here, it'll say 1 to 10 or 0.1 to 10. Right now it's up to 100. What that means is that they're experiencing conditions close to that. At least they plotted a data point that high somewhere along this timeline. That's why they raised that. So you can see the little dots here. Okay? They picked up some data points here that were either close to 100 or at 100. That's density. Now, density typically, you know, stays between 2 and 3. Not 100, 2 and 3. Okay? We start getting up around 10. We start seeing bigger hits on our magnetosphere. So if we see density up here in the hundreds, typically what that will mean is that we have some slower solar wind, because it allows all those particles to pile up. And a lot of times, guys, it'll pile up right in front of our bow shock. It's a known phenomenon, okay? These particles will travel here and they kind of pile up because the solar wind ain't pushing hard enough to flush them out. So that's kind of what goes on with that. So when we get these big high dense hits, sometimes it's because of that pile up, and then you get solar wind right behind it that actually takes that big high density stuff and like kicks it. That's the word I would use. Kick it right at us. So we take decent sized hits when that goes on. So, but as far as conditions right here, guys, look at this. See the BZ like we've been talking about here lately? That thing is like steady, right on 0. I mean, the door ain't open at all right now for energy to be flowing off the sun, if we're going to go solely off the BZ. And it does, this is, in my opinion, the most important marker on this, because if this thing is far down into the negative, you can bet that we're going to be having conditions that's going to mess with our magnetosphere, okay? And usually when that's happening, the phi angle's, you know, doing its flip and jumping around and stuff too, okay? These are just the secondary markers to basically look in detail what the BZ is showing us. That's what these are for. That's what this is kind of telling us, all right? So that's why we look at it the most, and that's why we bring it to you in such a way that that's how, you know, we transfer the knowledge of what the data is showing us. So here's the enlil, okay? This is remember what I say. You know, I would love for them just to cut this off right here. Don't even show us this stuff out here, because it's always wrong. Okay. But look what happened. We're right here in time. Do you see what's going on as we're talking right now? we're in a slow uptick of solar wind. At least that's what this model is showing us. Okay, and it's going to be fairly accurate this close to the date. Okay, but look, see what it does right here. Then all of a sudden, bam. So I'm going to push play. We're going to watch the spirograph and see what it does. Actually, I can just pause that. Oops. Bring this over. That's what we're experiencing right now. Here's Earth. Right? These two balls right here. Okay? You can see how we're starting to come up into this green. And all this graph down here on the bottom is showing you is the speed of the charged particles. That's all it's showing you. And then the top one, all it's showing you is the density. Nothing more, nothing less. That's what you're seeing. Okay? So if we take this line right here and we move it over to here, what are our conditions now? Well, if you look over here, we're in some pretty decent solar wind, but the density dropped out. So this is going to be a high-speed solar wind event, okay, rather than a high-dense event like we get sometimes, okay? That's what these graphs are telling us. So it's a very good possibility that's what we're going to see. And remember, we're right, well, yeah, we're kind of right here. So that's about 24 hours from now. Maybe a little longer, give or take a couple hours there. So about this time tomorrow, well, the turn of the day, it looks like about 12 Eastern, which would be about, what, 4:30 UTC. We can look for these conditions. So what's that mean? Well, let me take you back up here. Seeing how we were already in storm level, we kind of dropped back down. Now these graphs are showing a slow uptick already. What's going to happen, in my opinion, this is going to kind of stay steady until we get to this spike right here. And then once this spikes, we're probably going to bounce back up into storm level again. If everything holds true. If we are to trust this predictive model out one day. And I actually do trust that quite a bit, just one to 2 days out. Anything more than that, no. But inside that, yes. So if we don't experience that, I'll be pretty shocked. Just to be honest. And I've been wrong before. Everybody has on that. But so here's the aurora forecast, and again, this just points to solar weather. Okay, already you see some green down there. And remember, we're in that season where we're getting these cracks in our magnetic field. So when we get any kind of solar weather, we're going to see like crazy auroras and stuff. Plus, it's going to add more energy to the whole system. And, guys, we've been seeing quite a few mid-sized earthquakes across the planet. And that goes into what I was talking about with the seismographs a little while ago. And that's why I really want to dig into it and figure out what's actually happening there. And like I said, I'm going to give Ricky thanks for that, because she's sending me. She brought that to me. I didn't even know it happened. So I give credit where credit's due, and she brought that to me. So that's where it's coming from, and I'm going to research it out and see what I can figure out. She asked me to share it with Scott, and I'm going to do that. He was working a lot today, so he didn't really get a chance to take a look at any of that stuff yet. But he will. So, let's go up here and look at the sun. Here's that bright region we've been watching. It's now officially a sunspot, okay? It actually turned into a sunspot. Which isn't, like, shocking, because it was very active anyway. It just didn't have quite the characteristics it needed. But what's more important right now that I'm looking at is this coronal hole. It's connected to the northern coronal hole. There is no void there anymore. All right. Plus, it almost looks like it's trying to stretch down. Okay, we have seen coronal holes that have taken up the whole front side of the sun, about half of it. Okay, from north to south, all the way through, one big gigantic coronal hole. And yes, we got some pretty good wind out of it, solar wind from it. So, I look for us to, this right here is probably why you are seeing this. Okay? Because if we go back to this coronal hole, remember, we've been watching this thing for a couple days. So it was kind of like hanging out right here yesterday, and then the day before was back a little bit more. But that means that, you know, charged particles are flowing out of this thing all the time. So, you know, if we connected to it when it was over here, yes, we would expect in 3 to 4 days to get that wind. Plus, you got this out here and all this other stuff down here. So, I guess the bottom line when we're talking about the geomagnetic storms right now is the fact that we're going to be in an area right here for the next 3, 4, 5 days that at any time, in my opinion, we could jump up into storm level. If we get into a G1 and then we kind of get like a double take there, we could, you know, even go higher. I'm not going to rule that out. I'm not saying that we're going to get up to like a G4 or a 5 or anything like that. But, you know, theoretically, we could see a G2 out of this if it hangs around long enough. But it may not. So that's what's up with that. Well, I'll give you a little update here on the geoelectric field. Again, this is just space weather's effect on our electrical grid. Very basic explanation there. We could go deeper with the vocabulary there, but I'm not going to because really that's what we're wanting to see and know about anyway. You can clearly see we're taking some sort of solar weather. All right. So, I'm sure you guys looked at my thumbnail. Let me show you guys this first. This is velocity, okay? This is the magnetosphere model. The sun's over here to the left. You can already tell that these colors are different than what it usually looks like, right? So, we're having a fast wind event, and that's what this is showing. So, if I push play, you can see some crazy looking stuff going on. I mean, down in here, up in here, it just, it's all kinds of odd. I mean, what's that back there? Why is it doing that back there with nothing coming from the front? Then you got that. You see how that was asymmetrical? Then finally it dipped down and went through. And look at what's doing there. That was current. Okay, this right here is the last image we've got. This is what's going on right now as we're talking. So stuff is going on inside our magnetosphere. And you can even kind of see here how things are kind of, you see the opening here? And it just kind of forms that sort of spiral effect. And this confirms it. See that? So, yeah. Now the density one here even looks a little bit even more crazy. You're going to see stuff act up right here. I'm going to pause it right there first. You see this little void? I'm going to call it. It's not really a void. You see the chart up here? Actually, what's going on there, that's more dense material than what this white stuff is. Okay? So, we're seeing this kind of trying to, you know, break into something similar here. I'm not sure if it does or not, but you can see how we got these higher dense particles on the back side here. So you wonder why. Well, the reason why is there is no solar wind to grab them and throw them out. You know, our magnetosphere is kind of bouncing a lot of that stuff away. So when we do get particles back here and they get dense and dense and dense, there's nothing there to push them on out and through. So they tend to hang around for a minute. So let's play that, and you'll be able to see this move. I mean, you can see even that right there. But this is it just does some weird stuff. Okay, right there, the density went the wrong way. Okay, it shouldn't be able to push against the solar wind, guys. This shouldn't be able to do that. Not on normal conditions. Something has to be helping it, is what I'm trying to say. I wish I would have recorded this earlier because it was a little bit more crazy. But looks like it's calmed down a little bit. But check this out, okay? This is the one, what's it say right here? Pressure. Yeah. Basically, it's squeezing our planet. This will actually turn into almost what looks like an egg. I've seen it happen a bunch, right? So, let's see what this thing does if it runs. Okay, there it goes. Now you're seeing out here in the front too how we're seeing kind of a void there again. And it just kind of builds. You see that? How it's kind of opening up there a little bit. So you're seeing, you know, I'm just going to let you watch it. Okay, do you see that? Let's take that back. Right here. Watch right here. Didn't take it back far enough. See that? How it's kind of got pushed down that way? Look at that. So, you know, draw your own conclusions there, guys. What's going on with that? You know, all I can tell you is we're having increased pressure, obviously. And this is why, this is one of the reasons, biggest reasons why we pay attention to this for earthquakes. Okay? You can see how this is just something that's, it's circulating at some point. It's almost spiraling down into our planet, which actually it kind of does in some ways. So, I wanted to show you guys that. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you here, guys, is, see if I can find it. Okay, I don't have it pulled up, but we're going to start here. Okay, this is on my thumbnail. Now, not this particular one. I want you guys to see something here. And I'm going to take you over to Brandon Nagley's channel and show you just his thumbnail. And we're going to talk about this for a second, because this is what we're seeing here should not be happening. It makes you really question what the heck is going on when stuff like this happens. It confirms the whole narrative that they do mess with these things sometimes, if not all the time. You know, I'm not ignorant to the fact that that can actually be a possibility, which is why we're so scrutinizing these things and we try to debunk them as hard as we can before we even bring it to you guys. You know, we work hard at that. We really do. We don't just see one thing and jump right out here. I used to do that, but, you know, I've learned not to by watching, you know, getting advice from, you know, multiple people, mainly Scott on that end of it. You got to have patience. Wait for the data to come in. This stuff ain't going to hit us for 3 days anyway. So why be the first out there, right? There's only one reason to try to do that. And that's to get more clicks and views, because you can be jumping up and down. Hey, I was the first to show that one. I was the first. Well, let's go look at all the other times that you said you were the first, and you never come back and corrected yourself when 3/4 of that you said, when you said you seen the first of that, was wrong. That's what happens. People make big mistakes when they do that, and I did the same thing. And I've explained this before, but I think I deleted like 5 or 6 videos early on in my channel, because after I learned that that's what I was doing, and I wasn't even intending to do that. It's just how I was wired until I could figure things out. I went back and deleted those, because it would hurt people more than it would help them, because what I was saying was completely wrong. And I came out with correction videos, and they're still out there. The correction videos are, but those other videos are gone, because I don't want people to like look at that and be like, oh my gosh, you know, this is the truth, what? You know, all that kind of stuff. You know, I'm sure you could probably find them somewhere, but I deleted them off my channel. One thing you will find, guys, if anybody starts a channel, you can bet in about a year, somebody will have taken all of your videos and made a playlist and posted them. It happens a lot, just about with every channel. And all they're doing is just reposting your information, which I don't have a problem with myself, you know, again, because I don't monetize. As long as I'm not being misrepresented in what I'm showing, you know, I give permission to everybody, even people I don't like. You know, scrutinize the crap out of me. I don't care. Do it, because if you do that, and I think you have a decent point, I'll try to get better on that. That's what happens. But, you know, to those that would come at me with no evidence or anything like that, you know what I'm going to say, right? You got to give me something there to go off of. You can't just come and say, oh, ooh, you're wrong. because of what reasons? You got to show me something. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, that's how it has to be, I guess. But to this right here, guys, I want you guys to look at this timestamp. This is stereo A. Okay, the Earth would be, well, we'll use the red one. The Earth would be over here, and the satellite we're looking from is here, right? So I want you to look at the timestamp, and I'm going to run this backwards. So we're at 1724, and this gives us a capture every 30 minutes, okay? That's what this tool does. So I back it up at 1654, 1624, half hour. You know, you guys are following me there, right? 1554, 1524, 1424. Hold on a minute. 1524 to 1424, that was an hour. Now, typically, I would not even, I probably wouldn't even have caught that, number one. Okay, number two, you know, it's only missing one image, so what's the harm, right? You know, we always, you know, missing one image, it could be a complete, just, you know, glitch, something happened, corrupted data, whatever, right? One image, who cares, right? Well, this is one of those instances, and I want to show you guys this again, because please pay attention to that timestamp. 1524, 1424. Which one's missing? The 1454. Okay, because you got the 1524 and the 1554. We're missing the 1454. So what I did was, I went over to ISWA. Did I got that pulled up or not? I don't. Let's get it pulled up here real quick. Okay, so I go over here to ISWA. I guess I could bring you guys out here with me for a minute. How you guys doing? How you doing, Tab? Hi there, Granny. Good to see you. Sharon, good to see you. Chris, Maria. So what I do is I come over here, and so I go looking for that image, right? Before we do that, though, guys, I want to show you this real quick. Okay? I meant to show you guys this earlier. This is that coronal hole. Now, they're saying that's a secondary coronal hole. I'm not so I don't know if that's technically correct, because it's a coronal hole inside a coronal hole. You know, maybe they were just trying to outline the overall area, and then they go to the most intense. But I wanted to show you guys this because it does confirm, yes, that's a coronal hole. And we are going to connect to that, in my opinion. We're going to get some solar wind from it. It'll take it a few days to get here, but it'll get here. So anyway, we go here to the solar tab, and then we go down here to 7. And the image that we want is from Stereo Core A, Stereo A Core 2. Okay, so you click on it, right? Let me X out that one. So, we look at the timestamp. That's all the way up to the 25th. So we got to go back like 2 or 3 days here. So you click on the movie tool. Alright. And you go back. I can tell you right now, earlier today, I couldn't do none of this because none of it was updating. So I don't know if it's updating now or not. Nope. You see this right here? You see that percentage? Every time I tried to load over here, it would stop at 32 or 33%. Something's blocking that. Okay? How do I know that? Well, let's go to another stereo view and see what happens with this one. It's doing the same thing, guys. So either ISWA, the site here, is having issues, or something's you know, kind of afoot here. I think it's a little bit of both. And so let me explain. Remember, we're missing the 1454 from the 23rd. Where can we go find that? Well, let's do this. And I'm going to give credit here to Brandon Nagley, okay? And the reason why is because I didn't even notice it until he posted a video. I don't think he understood that it had actually, that image is no longer there. They pulled it off, guys. It was there, and Brandon's got it on his thumbnail. I'm not sure if he even realized it was not there anymore. This is Brandon's channel, and that right there you're looking at, that's the image they pulled off of there. Why? Does anybody else but me think that that's all jacked up? That just kind of, it kind of floored me, alright, just to be honest with you. I just showed you all the steps I did to try to find, the missing, and I wouldn't even have been looking for it. I already knew where it was at because Brandon had it here, and that's the reason why I went looking for it to begin with. And so it was really shocking to go to those sites in the 1454, it's gone. Okay? Typically, I would be inclined to call this a tool flaw. Alright? Now, not all the way, though. Let me explain. If it was just one of these, I probably wouldn't be so, hey, that's a tool flaw. But because you got two of them, kind of in this weird shape looking thing, I don't know, okay? I can't tell you what this is. I can't tell you how far away from the satellite it is. Okay, let me explain. Just because this looks like it's out by the sun doesn't mean that it is. If this thing is, if this is actually something out there, let me explain this too. If this is like some crazy object or whatever out there, number one, it would be two of them. Okay. Number two, this white circle right here, that is the surface of the sun. That's the size of the sun. So if this was truly out by the sun, you're looking at an object that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 7 times the diameter of the sun. 7 times bigger. So I would be like, I guess I would say this. I don't think that this is out by the sun. If it's an object. If it's not some sort of crazy fluke. And the only reason why I'm not calling it a crazy fluke is the fact that they pulled this image off of there. It's not there anymore. They took that timestamp data out of there. Now I could take you back on to other days where they left this kind of stuff in. Why this one did they choose to pull out of there? Because it was already there or Brandon wouldn't have it. Okay? So, good job, Brandon, for catching that. I didn't see it until you posted that. Now, I didn't know that they had pulled the imaging off until I went and looked. But this right here is why I went and looked at the Core 2 to begin with. Because I seen his thumbnail. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about, I go watch everybody's channel, guys. I don't, that's what I'm trying to say. Brandon's been, watching my channel for a long time. We've had a few conversations back and forth. Seems to be a pretty cool dude. I think we kind of, we vary a little bit on our theories, but that doesn't matter. We're still trying to find the truth. And we do share a lot of the same belief in what's going on. I will say that. Nobody's going to believe 100% with each other all around. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there's people out there that's like, only believe about 1/10 of what I'm showing. Right? Or 0 at that. That's just kind of what I'm talking about, though. But what makes this so funky is the fact that that image isn't there anymore. They pulled that off. that really makes me question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this image, and I haven't done it yet because I just haven't had time yet, and I'm going to try to run it through some filters and see what we can find to look at it, to see what's going on. And again, the only reason why I say that it could still possibly be some sort of tool flaw is that these things are almost a mirror image of each other. Okay, the width's about the same, the angle of the slant is, you know, it just, I don't know. I just don't know what to call this yet. I didn't see this on any other tool either. Okay, that's the other thing we should do. You know, when you see stuff like this, you try to confirm it by looking at a different satellite. And if it shows up on that second satellite, it's a pure factual object, because two satellites ain't going to see the same flaw that are millions of miles away from each other. That's how we confirm this stuff really, really quick. Now, if it doesn't show up, it still doesn't mean that this couldn't actually be an object or whatever this is out there, okay? A whole lot of possibilities here, guys. And I know I'm probably causing a lot more questioning than answering anything. The reason is because I don't have the answer for this. I don't. I could sit here and preach to you all day long. Somebody could probably sit here and convince me that this is some sort of, you know, camera anomaly. And then on the other hand, somebody that's trying to tell me that this thing is the end of the world, I can almost believe that by looking at this, just because of the circumstances around it. Okay? So what I'm saying is, I'm kind of on the fence on what's going on with this. If they hadn't pulled that image down, you know, if it was posted up there, now why did they pull it down? That, you know, when they have a mistake like this, okay, they don't usually pull them off of there, guys. They don't waste their time. They just say, hey, that was a glitch, and they move on. So I just don't know. But I do want to give credit here to Brandon, okay? You know, go check him out, guys. I mean, he's over here doing videos every day. So, anyway, with that being said, like I said, you know, well, let me say this too. Like I said, Brandon's a really good guy. And we do hold a lot of the same beliefs. Our theories don't quite match up with one another, but they're close, okay? They're not. I don't completely disagree with what he says, and I'm sure he doesn't completely agree with what I say. That doesn't mean we can't be good with each other, all right? That's what I'm trying to say. And when we do see stuff like this, we can show it to each other and be like, what do you think about this? What do I think? And we can just have a conversation about it. But I just told you my opinion on this. I probably wouldn't even have looked too hard if they hadn't pulled that video, hadn't pulled the image. That's the whole reason this is even happening right now. I wasn't even going to do a live stream tonight. That's how crazy this is. So, I don't have a whole, like I said, I probably caused more questions than answers there. I do apologize for that, but maybe somebody has some stuff there. Maybe somebody has some insight on what we're seeing. So, yeah. So, thanks, Brandon, for posting that up there. I'm glad I, seen that, and then went to check it out to see if I could see it for myself, and they put the image. I checked the timestamp, and it didn't match up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? They pulled it down. And again, guys, check this out, okay? It's still sitting at 32. It stops there every time. Every time. I did it like 20 times earlier, trying to get this stupid thing to load. Because a lot of times you can either just hit this movie button again. It'll shut the movie tool off for a minute, but as soon as I click on that, it'll try to reload it again. Straight back to 32 and stops. So I'm really questioning what's going on with this. I went to the stereo site, kind of got the same dead end. I even did this. Watch this, guys. Watch this. Because you don't have to watch a movie here. You can get single imaging, okay? If you don't click on the, let me pull the chat up over here. if you don't click on that movie tool, you can go here and go back to the 23rd. We want 14. 1454, right? Is it 5424 or not? I can't remember. Yeah, I think it is. Let me hit apply. Look what we get. We get the death ring and circle there. You know, the loading ring that we all don't like to see. I was just asking to see one image there. I wasn't asking for some big loop, so it shouldn't have been having any problem loading, is what I'm trying to say. So, I don't know. So, let's see here. I'm just trying to read through if anybody's got any questions. You guys got any questions on what's going on here? Saved Warrior, you know, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I can't give you any kind of good explanation there. So yeah. Yeah. I really wish I had a better answer for you guys on this. Let me just take you back over here, and we're looking at this right now, and that's kind of what. Yeah, let me pin the chat again real quick. So, I was telling you guys here that I was going to ask you guys for a favor, and that favor is I want to help somebody out and surprise them here in just a second. If you guys want to help me out, I think it would be fun. We may. How many is actually in here right now? Oh wow. Okay. Well, we got 460 in here right now. Wow. That's the most I've had in a while. That's good. That's cool. What I want to do, guys, if you guys are up for it, I'm gonna leave my live running for a minute. But what I want to do is this. Let me you know what, man? Every time I do that, it's never there. See, that really makes me mad when I see that. Guys, I subscribe to Mark Spiders, right? You know what I mean? I've been saying it for the past few videos. Why isn't he here? Am I not seeing it, or what? Now, I know he's live right now. Maybe he's up here at the top. Yeah, there he is. Okay. So, anyway. What I would like for us to do. He needs I think he said he needed 350 hours, watch hours, by the end of 5 days now. I think he has 5 days left to get this. I would really love for us, all of us, right now, to go smack his chat. Just love bomb him real quick. Hop in his, just click on this guy. Here, I can put the link in here. Hold on. Let's do this. No, I don't want to save to watch later or anything like that. Let's share. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So, that's his live stream link. I would really, really love for everybody to go over there right now. Leave my channel. I'll leave my live stream running. If we could all go over there and just smack his channel with some love, okay? Let's see if we can get a couple hundred views in there for him. I'm not sure if he's ever had a couple hundred during the live stream. Oops.
Brand new flavor in your ear, but we're going to do a little U2 for you right now. It's a song called With or Without You by a band called U2. Here we go.
You guys got him up to like 53 already. I love it. Love it. I love it. Love it. You guys are awesome. I just gotta say that. You guys are freaking cool. Oh, we caught him singing a song too. Awesome.
Through the storm, we reach the shore. Give it all, but I want more.
He's singing you too. All right. Love this. Love it. I don't think he realizes it yet. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. It'd be awesome if we get him up over 100 here with some views. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, guys. I'm going to dab for him. Watch this. Love it. Anybody that's not subbed, too, guys, throw him a sub. Give him a like. Get them likes up there. Already 87. Awesome. You guys are, man, I can't even, you guys are awesome. That's all I can say. I can't even believe it. So awesome. Look at all the emojis. He's getting distracted a little bit, I think. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. See, this is what makes life worth it, guys. It really does. He works so hard on what he does, and when we can, just throw this to him, it's just awesome. I mean, listen to us. Just listen to him sing it. You know what I mean? Yes, he has, guys. He's been live for so many days in a row. It's crazy. Crazy, 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 guys. From Michael? No, I haven't had any from Michael who? Who are you talking about there? Let's see here. Yeah, I know. I seen that too, Mighty Mark. He's got way more. Well, it says he's got 72 now watching, but I think it's a little bit more than that. Yeah, plow that subscription button for him and hit that like. Love it. You guys are awesome. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Debbie, how will that affect us? I don't know, guys. Like I said, I can't even confirm that it's actually a real object yet. I just was, when I see that kind of stuff, man, you can't help but wonder what the heck. You know what I'm saying? Let me go back to that, because I'm going to. Let's, thank you guys so much for going over there and doing that for me. I really appreciate that. I really do. Anytime we can spread some positivity and give people a smile that give people smiles all the time anyway, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, makes you happy to be alive when stuff like that's going on, So anyway, here's that image again, guys. Anybody that's back, if you ain't been over there yet, go over and go check him out. I'll drop the link again here real quick. He does that Joe Biden and Trump. He does these shows with the voiceovers and all the face swaps and all that stuff. So it's very funny. He's really good at what he does. I mean, I before I went live, I was watching and listening to him. Oh man, I love it, guys. Oh, did you? From 2018, do you like? Yeah, I mean, you guys see what he's doing over there right now? Sorry, I'm kind of distracted with him right now because what he does is he starts making up a song, and if you put words in the chat, he uses your words in his song. It's awesome. But anyway, thank you guys so much for that. That was pretty awesome. I don't know that anybody. Yeah, I've only seen that done a couple different times on a couple different channels. I just like like I said, guys. Like, look at what we're looking at right here. You know what I mean? It's so negative. It can be so negative. So negative. So anytime I could point somebody towards something positive, I take that chance. I try to shoot for it, and I point people towards it. Because when we lose the ability to smile and to be happy, why are we even here at that point? And so many of us get down that far. And all of us have experienced at least a little bit of that. But, it's frustrating for me when people get on me for promoting somebody like Mark. Yes, I've been doing it a lot in almost every video, like what we just did. But it's worth it. It is worth it. Because I have never left his channel without a smile on my face. I can't say that about my channel. I can't say that about anybody's channel, really, that I've been to before. Teresa, yay! So, guys, it is, again, it's one of those things, man. It really is. It's one of those things that I'm not going to pass up the chance to help somebody get a smile. And, like I said, guys, anybody that's not a sub, please do. He had to get like 300 hours, I think, and like I said, in like five days, 300 watch hours. I think I tried emailing him. He was supposed to, of course, I don't know. It might get put in his spam folder. We've not had like personal contact yet through like the phone or anything. We're going to do that. I may end up going over to his show this weekend or sometime in the near future. And if I do that, obviously I'll leave you guys, I'll tell everybody about it. And, I'd like to share with him and with all you guys at least a little bit of my story. My story is my life. I've led a pretty crazy life to some people, okay? I've been up, I've been down, I've been through a lot, just like anybody else in this world. But, I have a platform here, and I'm able to share that in a way that could possibly help somebody else. And that's what I want to do with that kind of a story. Now, I know that my channel specifically, with what I do there, isn't really the platform for that. Because people come there to see this, what I'm showing you right here. And so that is, when I try to get a little personal, a little bit, intimate with everybody here, sometimes that bites me in the butt with the fact that, people really, they will actually like say things to me over that. Like, man, that ain't why I hear it. I just want to hear the information. And it's like, okay, sorry, I thought I was just trying to help somebody, that. So whenever I get a chance to point somebody over there that actually has a platform designed for that, I do it. And hopefully I'll be able to go over there and he'll, maybe we'll do a multi-stream live stream or something. And, just bring everybody together and have a good time, Share my story, guys. Like I said, I've been through a lot. I've had almost 40 surgeries in the past 7 years. I've been through an opiate addiction because of those surgeries. And there's a lot of story behind all that. And like I said, I about lost my life 3 or 4 different times. And it, not to do with the opiate addiction or anything like that, but over other stuff. Over an infection in my leg from a softball injury. I about lost my life over that. So that's what I and I fight and I fight and I fight in my own head. Like what you said right there, Rick Sanchez. Guys, once you go through something like that, you figure out real fast that all the stuff that used to matter to you in such a hard way melts away to nothing. People were slamming me for pointing out the fact that Hopi NG, another one of my friends, was, he needed some help with, I showed that 38-second video because he's having some issues, like making rent and stuff. And I don't know the whole story, but I just shared the video. I didn't go anything further than that. I was just trying to help a friend, that kind of thing. And, man, they just slammed me over that. And I'm like, why wouldn't I, I'm not forcing anybody to do anything. I'm just showing people this. And when I see a friend that's in need, and the way that I can help them is by using my platform to at least spread the word. I struggle a lot with some of this stuff like that. I went through that, I don't want to say I went through that addiction, because let's just be honest, I will always be addicted, okay? Well, I don't want to say addicted. I will always have to fight that urge to go back to doing stuff like that. And it has hit me in a way that, especially with all the surgeries I've had, even after I was, addicted to the pills, I realized that for me, I will no longer be able to get pain relief. And that was hard for me to accept and stay the course like I am now. So, yeah. I can, I won't ever entertain the fact that if anybody ever offered me that kind of thing, even the doctors, I've told the doctors no. When I get a doctor, like a new doctor or whatever, I tell them straight up, hey, I was an opiate addict. I'm on Suboxone right now. If I come in here and ask you for pain medication, put it in my chart. I'm not allowed to have it. That is a control and an accountability point for me. Okay, so that's what I do. That's how I do things, right? So those are the kind of things I want to share with you guys, but I can't in this platform to the way that I am now. I could go so much deeper, and I could do that with going over and talking to Mark, just being real. What's this show called? Mark Pyre's Real Talk. So, Debbie, yes, I've tried kratom. The science is still out on that. What I would say to that, Debbie, if anybody ever wanted to know what it was, it's an Indonesian root, and what it does is it actually hits on the same receptors as an opiate, but it's not an opiate. So the thought there is that it's not addictive. Well, let me say this. I didn't get addicted to it. I tried it a couple different times. It's number one, it's nasty to try to drink. You could put it in veggie tabs and like take it as pills or whatever. But even at that, they're in a lot of states now, they're making it a controlled one substance instead of like a holistic or medicinal medicine, that kind of thing. Instead of like going to the nature store and picking it up or ordering it or whatever, they're trying to stop all that. Because now there's a lot of evidence saying that stuff is addictive. I'm under the mindset that everything is addictive. If you use it every day, and then you can't go 1 or 2 days without it, you're addicted to it. The biggest thing this world's addicted to, let me tell you what it is. It's your cell phone. That has nothing to do with physicality. It's all in your head. But you're still addicted. Test my theory there. Go put your cell phone in a drawer in the kitchen. Walk away for 12, 14 hours without going to sleep. Go all day without having your phone on you and see how you feel. So that's what I'm trying to say. So anytime somebody says something isn't addictive, I actually will, I'll fight that. But, as far as being physically addicted to like kratom or something like that, I don't know. Did it help my pain? Maybe a little bit. It did, it did a little, I guess. But I'm still on Suboxone. So if you guys don't know what that is, it's buprenorphine. It itself is actually an opiate. But it's got naloxone, which is Narcan, which is the stuff that they give overdose people that, if they're shooting fentanyl or heroin or whatever, and they overdose, they'll hit them with Narcan pins. And they bring them back up, right? It saves so many people's lives. That drug is awesome for that fact alone. But it's almost counterintuitive because I'm on, like I said, I take Suboxone. The in there is naloxone, the Narcan. So I'm taking an opiate with Narcan in it. And it's crazy how you would think that it would not work, like it would block the other opiate. But buprenorphine, what's in Suboxone, is stronger than any other opiate out there as far as not the way that it will make you feel like high or anything like that. It's just that there is no other opiate out there. Like if I was to take some buprenorphine and then go try to do some heroin or, Oxycontins or whatever, none of that stuff would even make it to my receptors because the buprenorphine is stronger than that and it won't let it knock it off the receptor. So, yeah. Yeah, pain is bad, guys. I mean, I've like I said, I could share so much with Mark and with everybody else. And I'm going to save some of that. Hopefully I'll be able to share that with you guys at some point. The whole methadone and all that kind of stuff that people talk about. I went to a clinic here in town that did both. And what I would say about methadone is the fact that you can't walk away from it. Because you can go out I've seen it happen, guys. I've seen people go out there, take their methadone dose, and go out to their car and eat a bunch of pills. The methadone ain't blocking nothing. Okay? So, what I'm trying to say is, if you're on methadone, you can still go take other stuff and get high. When you're on Suboxone, you can't. And that's the other thing, too. If I was, for my surgeries, I have to go 3 to 4 days dry with no buprenorphine before my surgeries, or the medicine that they use to put you out with don't work as well. Okay? So I have to do that, which puts me into withdrawal. And it's very intense for a couple of days. It's horrible, matter of fact. So I've been through that like 30 times. And it's not fun. Most of you guys know I had all my teeth yanked out earlier this year. I woke up halfway through the procedure and he couldn't get me back to sleep. You want to know why? Because I'm on Suboxone. The propofol, which is they call it milk of amnesia. It's the stuff that Michael Jackson overdosed on. That's what they use like in an office setting to put you out. He legally could not give me any more of that. That's how much of a tolerance I have to those things. So, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, wow, man, what do you do? And for me, it became a very depressing thing. And I guess I should probably stop talking about this. It became a very depressing thing because I realized that I'm not going to get pain relief. Ever. And that's a hard thing to accept. Now, don't get me wrong, I still search and I still try. You know, I do physical therapy all the time. I do, stuff like that. I am on buprenorphine for the withdrawals. The doctor wanted me to take my dose up to see if it would help with my pain. So I did that, and it didn't really help. So, why take more? Not really any kind of, yeah. Yeah, Exile. I mean, anybody that's ever been on that kind of stuff or known anybody that's been through that. What's crazy about me, I was actually 3 days dry when I first quit taking the pills. And I tried to go to rehab and they wouldn't let me in because my insurance wouldn't take me. I drove like an hour and a half away and then just to get turned around. So, when you're in that position, you do stupid stuff, right? So in my mind, and I don't drink alcohol either, okay? It's just something I don't do. Not to say that I haven't before, because you're going to hear a story right now about that. I actually came back from that rehab place because they wouldn't let me in because of the insurance, and stopped and got some vodka on the way home, thinking that I could just sleep through my withdrawals. Well, nada. That doesn't work. Let me tell you why. Because I had drank enough, and I'm not a drinker. I don't drink alcohol. So I drank enough that I ended up with alcohol poisoning, became extremely suicidal to the point where they put me in a psych ward for 3 days because they didn't know what to do with me. And, they won't give you Suboxone at the hospital. So I was up there in that psych ward for a couple days. But as soon as the insurance heard that alcohol was involved, they sent me straight back up to the rehab place. You believe that? If I'd have went up there and lied to them and told them I was an alcoholic too, they would have kept me. The insurance would have let me go in. It's ridiculous. Completely ridiculous how I ended up having to do that. But let me tell you something. My wife is my best friend. She had every reason to not be here anymore. And she's still here. I mean, it's just, yeah, I can't, yeah. That's just pure love is all that is. Unconditional. And I have the same thing for her. We've all had our issues on both sides. But let me tell you, anybody that's ever been through something like that, they know. It's not an easy thing. And, I get asked this too. People ask me because I'll tell them I don't hide the fact that I was an addict because I like to help other people, right? And they asked me, well, what does it feel like? You know what I tell them? I'll ask them. I say, hey, do you drink Coke every day or coffee? And 99% of the people I talk to is going to say, yeah, a lot of it every day. I would just look at them and I say, well, quit drinking that stuff for 2 days, and then come see me on that third day and we'll talk. By that third day, they're at my door. Like, what? Why did you tell me to do that for? Well, let me tell you something. That's the only way you were going to understand. Because people don't understand it, but you're physically addicted to caffeine. Because you will get a headache. You will get all of that stuff, right? That's what happens. That is an addiction, you know? And one of the strongest addictions out there is nicotine. I've never smoked. I've never been a smoker. But I now understand. I actually used to be so without a better word, mean to people that wouldn't quit smoking, like my mom and my dad. I just couldn't understand it. But now I do. And I understand that actually smoking is probably harder to quit for a lot of people than what an opiate would be. It's crazy. And the other thing that kind of bothered me, when I went into in-house rehab for like 5 days, that's how long I was up there, they made those guys quit smoking at the same time. You believe that stuff? I couldn't believe that. So they're having to quit taking whatever drug they were taking, plus they weren't allowed to smoke. I just don't understand how that could even happen. I don't see how somebody could ever quit. It's just nuts. What's the matter? What's the matter, Isaiah? Granny, you okay? See all them stop emojis? Yeah, Rip, it is. Yeah, guys. I mean, I really wish I could share more of this stuff with you guys on a more on a different platform without having to try to talk about this stuff at the same time. Because I know a lot of people don't come here for this. I get it. Oh, a nerve block, Debbie? No, they can't. Just because of where it's at. I got pain in so many different areas. I'm fused 6 in my neck, and I'm fused 3 in my lower back. So in order to do something like that, I would lose so much function in other places that I wouldn't, just to be honest with you, I wouldn't want to be alive. I've had all the cortisone and steroid shots all up in my spine. They don't work. They work for about a week and then they go away, and you can't get those shots more than 3 times a year. They won't let you. They won't do that. No, I'm not in a chair. Okay, that's a good question though. Right now I'm currently limping extremely bad because I fell down a ditch on the side of the road. Believe it or not, jacked myself up bad. I'm still hurting really, really bad right now. So I don't know. It is. Yeah, it's a hard thing, guys. Man, I'm not trying to sugarcoat it or make it seem worse than what it is. I'm just trying to be as real as I can be, and that's just what it is. Everything I just said there is exactly how it is. There was a time that, when I first found out that there was going to be no pain relief for me, that I didn't know if I wanted to be here anymore. You guys can go with that, with however you want to go with it. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say the word because I don't condone that kind of stuff, and I don't think like that anymore. But at that time, that's where my mind went, and to the point where I researched it enough where euthanasia is actually legal in Canada. And you can actually get on YouTube, guys, and you can research it, and you can watch people do it. It's kind of it's disturbing, and it's really strange to watch. They have to do it themselves. Okay, what they do is, just in case anybody wanted to know this stuff, because I get asked this too. They actually will, you know, the one guy, he was like 100 years old, and his quality of life had dropped so bad, I guess. I don't know exactly his whole situation, but that's what he wanted to do. So they hooked him up to an IV and stuff and put whatever medicine in there, but then they, you know, they told him he had to open the block on the hose, on the tubing, to let the medicine go in. He had to do it himself, is what I'm trying to say. Nobody else is allowed to do that for you. Now, I also seen there's places where they just, they put a drink, it's a drink that you drink. Yeah, euthanasia, Amanda, it's, man, I can't even believe my mind even got that far. But that tells you that that's how much pain I was in. And I still am. I'm just handling it different now. And I never would have made it this far without my wife, I'll tell you that. And my kids. And my parents. I didn't have the money for the Suboxone at first. My parents paid for my Suboxone for the first year. That's how amazing my parents are. My wife, you know, like I said, had every reason just to boot me out the door. And she could see it in my face. When she took me up to the rehab place, and I went to, you know, I turned to go walk back into the facility because it was my intake day and all that. And she just grabbed my arm and flipped me back around and said, "Hey, we're going to be here when you get out." It's like she knew I needed to hear that, because that was my biggest fear. I thought for sure when I walked out of that place my family would be gone. But she reassured me right there that day. And yeah. It yeah. Get a little emotional, so I'm gonna quit talking about it, but yeah, that's just a piece of my story. I should probably write a book. I don't know. But yeah, I wouldn't have made it without her, that's for sure. Actually, I got a video, guys, if you guys wanted to watch it. Let's go to my YouTube channel. See if I can't find it. I think I mentioned it before. It's my what if right now video. Let's go to, and basically it's a lot of what I just told you plus more. You know, I drove, get this, I drove about 50 miles the day after Christmas in a blizzard with my son in the car to buy some pills. And on the way home, I spun out on 70. Yeah. So, and when I got home, my wife was standing at the back door, and I just let it all out right there. It was just, nobody got hurt or anything. It didn't even damage the car. But it was enough that it scared me. And I, you know, guys, I'm the guy that never even smoked weed in high school. And I'm being serious as a heart attack when I say that. And, so for me to, you know, get addicted to something in my mid-30s, that should tell you how powerful that stuff is. But here's that video, guys, right here. It's, I guess I'll just, well, there's my wife. That's me, a young me. My grandparents. There we are. I was 18, she was 20. Yeah, it's a young kid right there, isn't it? Oh my gosh, man. I can't even believe. Wow. So, anyway. Oh, you're on what? What? Something for your back? Yeah. You know, guys, let me tell you this. I was on those opiates for 6 years and never, not one time, abused them. Okay? Not even one time. until one day my back was hurting at work, and one of my friends said, "Hey, go down there to such and such. You got, give him $5. He'll give you a couple pills to get you through the rest of the day." That's how it started. Then it just snowballed. Within like 3 weeks, I went from taking one extra dose to taking a dose on the days I was working, and then taking an extra dose. Then I would drive out there on my days off and get a dose. And then it just snowballed. I went from taking 10 hydrocodone, 60 milligrams of hydrocodone a day, to 60 a day. I was swallowing 20 of them at a time in 3 months. So that should tell you that stuff is not good for anybody. Just saying. Now, if people can be strong and use it for what it's supposed to be used for, like I did for 6 years, I'm all for it, because I do think that some people need to be on that. There is conditions that warrant that kind of pain relief. I do believe that. And honestly, mine does. But unfortunately, I ruined that for myself. I can no longer ever go back to that. So, yeah, I know. I couldn't believe it. You know what's crazy about taking 60 of them a day? You don't even realize it at the time, but you're not getting any higher than what you would have if you'd have taken 10 of them. You want to know why? Because once that receptor that opiate hits on that receptor, once that receptor is full, it can't take any more. It can't hold anymore, so your body just flushes it out. So it's ridiculous. That's what I'm trying to say. That is an addict's way of thinking. They will keep taking until they feel that high, and they're always chasing that initial high that they got the first time. And I'm not going against people that are going at people that have actually used needles and stuff. That's something I never did. The hardest thing I ever took was a Norco. That's a Loratab, guys. It wasn't even an oxy. I didn't snort them or anything. I took them orally, But I can understand. Now I will say this: if somebody would have come up to me and told me that like you could snort heroin and that it was half the price, I'm telling you right now, I'd have been the first person in line. Because, that's just where it was at. And I'm not going to sit here and lie about it. That's just what it was. At that point in my life, I would have. I'm glad I didn't have that knowledge of that at that time. Because I would have. I know I would have. That's where my mind went. And it took this to yank me out of that. And I can't tell you how thankful I am. It's just, yeah. She's one of a kind, guys. Really is. And when I say she's my best friend, I actually mean that. That is something that, we don't have secrets from each other. We don't, 100% of the time, she's got my back and I've got hers. The true test of that is when you can stand up to your own parents in defense of your wife or your husband. If you can do that, that is unconditional love. Just telling you. That is probably the hardest thing for people to accept. Most people at some point have to tell their mom and dad, back off. You know what I mean? That's just, you ain't got to be mean about it or anything. But, my mom always told me, she says, hey, always take your wife's side. Be there for your wife. And the second that I did that, they got mad. But, then they understood. Now, if she, like I said, the way we do things in my family, if say she got in an argument with my mom and dad or whatever, something happened, right? Then I would just say, hey, I would back her 100% while I was standing there. And then if I disagreed with her, I waited until we were in private. Then we would take care of it. Because the world needs to see a united front. And that's what your kids need to see too. You can't have one parent doing this and doing that, and then, you just can't have that. It's not healthy. Then you talk about it in private and you fix it. So, that's my advice I give to people. When you decide to get married, that is what it is. The definition of love will change for people. It changed for me. It morphed into something completely different than what I ever thought it would. The physical part of that, yes, that's there. But that becomes way on the back burner when you get a little older and you start loving somebody so deep that you don't care if you can even have that physical part anymore. You want what she's got in her heart and her mind more than what you want to see what she's got in her pants. That's what I'm trying to say. And I know that kind of came out kind of rude probably, but that's exactly what it is. That's exactly how I feel. That's exactly how, I don't think I'll ever feel any different than that. Don't get me wrong. I like the physical aspect just like anybody else. But, it becomes something different. It really does. We've been married 27 years last week. Like I said, I just showed you my wedding pictures. I was 18. Do the math. That's a lot of years. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Exile. Anything to just stop hurting. That's, let me tell you something there. He's speaking the gospel right there. It is, that's what you're looking for when you're getting help right at the beginning. Anything just to stop the withdrawal and the pain. And that's why I think Suboxone is a good thing. Now, let me say this too, okay? I tried to come off the Suboxone because they doubled our price once. I couldn't do it. I lasted about 8 days. Now, let me say this too. I didn't do it right. I was on 8 milligrams and I decided just to quit. Cold turkey. That doesn't work for a complete addict to be able to do that. Not, I didn't sleep for 8 days. It was horrible. And yeah. So I look back on it, and remember I said I was 3 days dry off of the opiates before I went back into rehab when they let me go back in? I never got my first Suboxone until I went back the second time. I had already hit the hump and was actually on the way down to where my withdrawals were actually getting better when I made it back up to rehab the second time. So that's the one thing that I wondered is that if I'd have waited another day, if I'd have just said, "Hey, take me home, lock me in the basement for another 2 or 3 days," because the physical aspect of it was going away. I distinctively remember that. But coming off Suboxone isn't the same because it has a 3-day half-life. You will still be feeling physical effects from the initial jumping off for 30 days. And then they can't even tell you when that's going to quit. That's the hardest part of it. If I had a finish line that I could see and had a goal to go to, I could probably quit the Suboxone today. But nobody can tell you when that's all going to quit. It's different for everybody. And don't get me wrong, like I said, I'm on Suboxone maintenance right now, but I am titrating down. I was on 24 milligrams, I'm down to 16. So, I actually was down to like 2 or 6. Was it 6? No, I was down to 2. No, I was down to 6. And the nurse quit out there at the clinic, so they had another new nurse come in there. And when they wrote the script, they wrote it for, I was taking, they come in 2 milligrams or 8 milligrams. Right? So my original prescription was for 3 2 milligram Suboxone. Well, that nurse quit, and then what they did was, the last time she wrote me a script, she wrote it wrong. She wrote it for 3 8s. And I crushed my pills, okay? I crushed them into a powder, not to dissolve them underneath my tongue. And my wife does that for me, so I don't even see it. That's part of my accountability. Okay, it helps her know that she can trust that I'm not doing something stupid, and it helps me that I know that I don't have access to something like that, right? So I've never ever once got a high off of Suboxone. I know some people have. I didn't. So I didn't even notice a difference when I went from taking 6 milligrams to 24 milligrams overnight. And I did that for like 3 weeks. Until the insurance caught it and said, hey, you've had your max for the month. You can't have no more. I was like, what? What are you talking about? So I go back out there, and that's what they figured out. They screwed up. They set me back 3 years of titration. And it really made me mad. I'm no longer with that clinic anymore. I'm somewhere else now that is so much better. It is. I mean, I do a group every week, and oh, you got the orange strips, Exile? Yeah, it's the strips are different. You know, I can tell you this: they taste way better than the tablets do. What did Scott say about that thing by the sun? Debbie, he hasn't seen it yet. I just did this live stream when I first seen it. Haven't had a chance to talk to him about that yet. Let me do this. I'll take you guys back over here to Brandon's page real quick. I am going to have to end this, guys. This is getting a little bit too late. I know that I kind of went off on a little bit of a... I really had no intention of that. I really thought we'd go over to Mark's and I'd be able just to take it off, but yeah. So, let me take you back over here to Brandon's page real quick, and then we'll... So here's that object again, guys, or whatever's going on here. All I can say is that stuff ain't there no more. That capture is not there. They pulled it out somehow. They pulled it off there. So I don't know. So no, guys, I haven't had a chance to look at anything today. I've had group today. I've had my wife's having some issues too, health wise. Been back and forth to the doctor and stuff like that. It's been really, really, thanks, Midnight. I really appreciate that. Debbie, how you doing? Yeah, there's your object, Debbie, right there. Yeah, I wish Scott was over here too. He's been working a lot, okay? You know, he had to change up his game plan because of policy here on YouTube. Back at you, Trinity. Hope you're feeling better. You guys need to go check out everybody's channel here. Exiles, Trinities. You have to, guys. They put out good content. Gotta support each other, you know what I'm saying? Della, yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Teresa. Prayers back at you. Hey, guys, everybody needs to pray for Teresa anyway, okay? You know, she told us a couple days ago, was it? About almost a week ago now. She's home, but she's in hospice right now. She's not doing well, health-wise. So any prayers you guys could give her would be great. I'm sure she would love that. So, but yeah, guys, yeah, back to the space stuff. See, that's what I'm saying. I need another outlet to talk about stuff like that because I do have something to offer there, but I don't want to take away from this either. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, guys, I think I am going to go ahead and have to end this. Yeah, I like to, you know, what's my email? Here, I'll put it out there again. There's my email. So yeah, keep us posted, Teresa. I really hope that you know, maybe you can catch a miracle. I hope for you, girl. I really do. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. we'll see. See what you know. I will entertain that thought all day long. Exile. That is something that you know, when I first got into treatment and stuff, I was so much against like groups and stuff. I didn't think I would get, you know, get any anything from them. But let me tell you, after doing it for a couple years, you get out of those groups what you put in. If you're able to get yourself to the point where you can participate in group, you will get a lot out of it. Matter of fact, some of my closest friends came from those groups now. Now, we can't really hang out outside of, you know, the group because it's just not healthy for two addicts in treatment to be like that close because bad stuff happens. You know, if one or two of them are having a bad day at the same time, they're like, well, let's just go get some stuff and feel better. That's just something you don't want to have to put yourself through. So they don't advise that. They don't discourage making friends and stuff there. And I do have a couple, but yeah, it's a yeah. They give you some accountability for sure, Exile. Your friends and stuff will start saying, "Hey, what are you doing?" You know, that kind of stuff. They'll start calling you, hitting you up on the text. "Hey, you doing okay? Hey, I heard you did this or you did that." That kind of stuff. So there is a accountability factor there that is very, very important to recovery. Spirituality, you know, having your God, something there to point to. That you have to have structure, and you have to have accountability. It's very important to get yourself into a good routine because your brain has to build brand new neural pathways when it's healing from a drug addiction. A lot of people don't understand that, but that's actually what's going on. And if you guys don't know this, nerves, they grow at like, I think it's like 2 millimeters every 6 months, like when they're trying to heal. So you can kind of understand how long that could take to heal up. Not to mention the whole mental aspect of it. Because what you'll find when you do stop taking your drugs, if you are addicted to anything, you'll find, like say at Christmas time, if you did your drugs for a good while, you will you won't remember what it was like to have a Christmas without being high. And that's one of the hardest things to get past. In other words, you got to create new, better memories. New good memories to go to without being high. And that's really where it's at. If you can get yourself to that point, you got a really good shot of being okay. Says Mark, is that bigger than the sun? Debbie, yes. Okay. Now I'm saying yes like this. Let me explain. If this is an actual object, now I'm not saying that it is because I don't know. The reason why I'm showing it to you guys is because they pulled this particular image out of the time lapse and you can't go see it right now. Brandon actually took a screenshot before they noticed it and put it up here is what happened. Okay? At least from what I can understand. I took you guys over to ISWA and over to Seeds and showed you that it was missing on both. But he has it here. So, the other thing that comes into play here, guys, is, you know, is this close to the sun or is it closer to the satellite? That's a big part of this. That will determine how big this is. This is why we can't really give you a size of all of our PX objects that we see. Because we just simply do not know how far they are away from the satellite. If we knew that distance, if there was some way to do that, we could give you a size very, very quickly with this simple math. So, you know. So anyway, yeah, this here is something that is. I hope that helped you there, Debbie. I really wish I could. You know, I wish we had a couple different other options with this. If we had a, you know, like say the Parker SP probe that's out there, they're getting a lot of good data from that, okay? But we don't get to see it. And that right there is upsetting because if we could see some of that stuff, man, You know, stereo B was on the other side over here, right? If it was over here, we had two of them going. Well, we were seeing stuff over there. Scott was catching all kinds of stuff over there. So they kill that satellite. That takes half our tools away. So, you know, it's just one of those things that, I don't know. Sometimes I just sit here and I often think, you know, are we really ever going to get to the point where we can say, hey, yes, this object's doing this. It's orbiting this. It takes it this long to make an orbit around the sun. You know, it's kind of what we did with the 28-day orbit thing. But now there's more than one object that we found. They've probably always been there. We just couldn't see them. You know, I get asked a lot of questions about, you know, how can an object like that orbit that quick? Well, I took everybody back. I don't know. It's been a while. I need to do it again. But there was a paper written where it was peer reviewed and all that, where they actually seen, catch this, two objects, two stars, and one of them was like 13 to 14 times the size of our star, and the other one was like 6 to 7 times the size of our star. They were orbiting each other in like 6 days. So when people tell me that an object can't orbit our sun in 28 days, I just have to look at them saying, well, here, go look at this. This will help you understand. I think it was even quicker than that. It was like breakneck speed. I mean, it was really, really fast. And, you know, I can't remember what they called them. They actually gave it a term. But I'll go back and find that. I'll try to bring it to you guys in my next video. So, alright, guys. Yeah, you're right, Debbie. They do. I'm going to go ahead and end it, guys. My daughter's in there. She kind of needs my help. She likes to... I have to rub her back to get her to go to sleep. I love her to death. You know what I'm saying? She's my heart. Got my two boys. My two boys are grown. My oldest just turned 25, and then my second child, my son, just is turning 21 this year. Actually, in a couple days. So, well, guys, love y'all. I really hope you guys have a good rest of the evening. I'll try to come back tomorrow. If I've got any more information on this, I'll definitely bring it to you guys. Thank you guys for going over there and helping me love Bomb Mark's channel. Like I said, I think we're really going to try to get together and do a show this weekend. And my hope is I'll be able to post it here on my channel and have everybody link over to his. That way he can get the watch hours. Because that's what he needs right now so he can monetize his channel. He's already got 1,000 subs. Okay, that's what you have to have 1,000 subs, and then you have to have 4,000 watch hours in a month, or they won't let you monetize. And he's been doing this for 2 years with nothing. You know, how his channel stayed in the dark hole somehow like that is beyond me. Just so positive. And maybe that's it. Maybe that's why. You know, maybe I just answered my own question. They don't want nothing that positive getting out, do they? I mean, I've never heard him say anything negative. Even when he's like making fun of Joe Biden, he even makes fun of the president, guys. Okay? It's not like he's picking on one side or the other. It's just rhetoric. It's funny. It's hysterical. That, guys, and those that don't know, he actually was a finalist. His song was a finalist in 2004 for VH1 Song of the Year. I don't know the whole story behind his music career, but he invented that beat seat. He talks about it a lot. It's that percussion instrument he sits on and plays his guitar, but he's also able to do the beat with it too because of the beat seat he patented and invented. He's very talented, guys, and I've never, like I said, if it's going to be negative, I don't think he's ever going to say it. You know what I mean? If it's real talk, yes, he'll put it out there in a way, but I don't think it's ever going to be put out in a negative way, unless there's just no other way to say it. Like a lot of this stuff that I have to bring you guys. How can I show you guys this and say something positive about it? You see what I'm getting at? And that's why when people come at me when I'm pointing people towards Mark's channel for promoting him all the time and all that, that's why I do it, you know? I don't get the chance to do that very often. I don't. Because the subjects we talk about here usually get pretty deep. They get pretty dark sometimes. I try to put it out there as positive as I can. But it's hard. It can be hard. So, I'm going to let you guys go. You know, I'm probably going to... this live stream is probably extremely long. And it probably will get like half the views than what it probably would have if I had cut it about an hour ago. But that ain't why I'm doing this. I'm doing this live stream stuff so I can talk to you guys. This is what I want. Now, thank you, Body and Soul. Good to see you. Nita, good to see you too. You know, you guys have been here for a long time. You know, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. This YouTube channel, as much as people say, hey, I'm bringing you guys good information and I'm helping you guys have helped me way more. I've learned from you guys more than I have anybody else. And because of you guys, I was able to get to like people like Scott and Mark Pyers and all that. And I say it like this, and it's like I said this about Mark a bunch, that we'll be able to get him some subscribers, right? But I promise you, whatever subscriber we send over there is going to stay because of what he's doing. Not because of my advice of going over there. They will stay because of his content. And I'm fully confident that his channel within a year is going to blow up. I'm telling you. That, you know, I'm saying it right now. I said it before. His channel is going to blow up, guys. I mean, we can go over here right now and look at it if we wanted to. I bet he's close to 2,000 subs. And he was at 300 and something like 2 weeks ago. So, you know, it says a whole lot about a person. You know, we've all been... And also this, guys. I won't point you guys towards a channel that I think is just junk. Okay? I won't do it. You know, I might mention a channel name if I'm showing something or doing this or doing that. But I'm pointing you guys, I'm telling you guys, hey, please go check him out. If I ever say that, just know that I actually stand behind that. So, thanks, Della. I really appreciate that. Oh, Casper, you're killing me there. Killing me there. Oh, wow. 1.89. Oh, wow. You see that right there? He was at like 1.81 or 82 before we went over and love bombed him. I'm telling you guys, he's going to get to that, you know, he's going to, once he starts, you know, I would encourage you guys to share his channel with everybody you know. That's the hope here, because anytime we can share the positivity, I think is a great thing. And that's exactly what I've been saying. I know I sound like a broken record, but that's truly why I do what I do. I believe in everything that I say. I don't say anything that I don't think is what the truth is. That's why when I'm talking about these objects like right here, I'm never going to say something distinctively 100% empirically true fact, because I can't prove it 100%. I'm showing you an observation and giving you my opinion. Yes, it might be a more, lack of a better word, an educated opinion. But at the end of the day, it's still an opinion. That's why. I don't want to steer what anybody's thinking. I don't want to change anybody's mind on anything. I want them to see this for themselves. And then if they come around to seeing what I do, great. If not, great. We can still be friends. That's where I'm at. So, all right, guys. Yes, I've said this again, another broken record. We're going to let this one go now, guys. Okay. God bless. Thank you guys so much for helping me out over there tonight, and being here and just being who you guys are. So, Yahuwah saves, and